After cancellation, select the least cost in the remaining cell and repeat the procedure until the cells are cancelled and the demand and supply is equal to 0. The cost of the transportation is 2 into 7 plus 5 into 3 plus 10 into 2 plus 7 into 2 plus 9 into 16. Check the demand and supply, allocate the least value and make the changes in demand and supply, and if the demand is 0, cancel that particular column. If the supply is 0, cancel that particular row. Hello dear students, welcome to this session of Operation Research OR class. I am Mr. Niranjan, faculty, Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Now, in my previous class, we have discussed regarding the transportation problems in northwest corner method. So, how to solve the problems using northwest quadrant method, that you have an idea. Now, in this session, I am going to discuss regarding the very important concept that is called the least cost method. So, here the name itself indicates verifying the least value, least cost method. This is very important method. So, the least cost method, or it is also called as a matrix minima method. Matrix minima method is called the least cost method. Now, how to solve problem using least cost method? Now, very simple step. So, select the least in the cell, least value. Select the least value in the cell. Check the demand and supply, allocate the least value and make the changes in demand and supply, and if the demand is 0, cancel that particular column. If the supply is 0, cancel that particular row. So, select the least cost in that cell. First, identify the least value in that cell, entire cell, and check the demand and supply, allocate the least value and make the changes in demand and supply. If the demand is 0, cancel that particular column. If the supply is 0, cancel that particular row. So, here we are going to select the least value in the cell, and by verifying the supply and the demand, the minimum value is going to allocated in that particular least value. After cancellation, select the least cost in the remaining cell and repeat the procedure until the cells are cancelled and the demand and supply is equal to 0. The procedure is go on repeating until the supply and the demand are equal to 0. Very simple. Here just find out or identify the least value in a cell, and that particular cell, find out the minimum value in the supply and the demand, allocate the minimum value, and if it becomes 0 in a row or column, cancel all the elements in that particular row or particular column depending upon the demand and the supply, and the procedure is repeated until you will get the supply and the demand is equal to 0. And finally, you can calculate the cost of the transportation. This is a simple procedure to solve transportation problem using least cost method. Let me take one small example. Now, solve the transportation by least cost method or matrix minima method. Now, first check whether it is a balanced transportation or not. If it is balanced, supply is equal to demand. Verify whether the supply and the demand are equal or not. So, here 7 plus 5 is equal to 12, 12 plus 8 is 20, 20 plus 16 it is 36, right, and verify the demand. 20 plus 10 is 30 plus 6 is 36. So, demand is equal to supply is equal to 36. Therefore, this is a balanced transportation problem. The first point is check whether it is a balanced or not. Here supply and demand are equal. Therefore, this is a balanced transportation. Now, let us come to the next step. So, here the supply is equal to 36 and demand is also equal to 36. It is a balanced transportation. Okay, this is called a least cost method. Least cost method. Now, just see. So, the least value in this cell is 0. 0 is the least value. So, this is the least value. Now, for this, verify the supply and the demand. Demand is 6 and the supply is 8. So, therefore, allocate 6 here. 6 minus 6, this is equal to 0. 8 minus 6 is equal to 2. So, just listen. Find out the least value in the cell. The least value is 6. For this 6, find out the demand and the supply. Demand is equal to 6 and the supply is equal to 8. The least value in the demand and supply is 6. You can allocate 6 here. 6 minus 6 gets cancelled. 8 minus 6 is equal to 2. So, once if this becomes 0 means the entire row gets cancelled. Okay. Now, similarly, identify the next least element in the remaining cells. Which is the least element here? 2 is the least element. Then identify the demand and supply for this. The demand is 10 and the supply is equal to 7. Okay. Now, demand is 10 and supply is 7. Which is the least value? 7 is the least value. I can allocate 7 here. 7 minus 7 is equal to 0. Here 10 minus 7 is equal to 3. Once this becomes 0 means we can cancel this entire row. Okay. Now, next, coming to the remaining cells. So, in the remaining cells, identify the least value. Which is the least value here? This 5 is the least value. For this 5 value, what is the demand? Demand is 3 and the supply is 5. So, you can allocate 3 here. 3 minus 3 is equal to 0. 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. Once this becomes 0 means we can cancel this entire column. Okay. Now, let us identify the least value in the remaining cells. The least value in the remaining cell is 7. 7, here 7. So, just identify the supply and the demand. See, for this 7, the supply is 2 and the demand is 20. So, you can allocate 2 here for this 7. So, this 2 minus 2 is equal to 0 and we are allocating 2 here. 20 minus 2 is 18. Once this becomes 0, then we can cancel this entire row. Okay. Now, find out the least value. Only 2 elements are left, 9 and 10. In 9 and 10, the least value is equal to 9. Check the demand and supply. So, for this 9, the demand is 18 and the supply is 6. Which is the least value? 16. You can allocate 16. 16 minus 16 is 0. Here, you can take 16 from this. The remaining value is t. Once if this becomes 0 means you can cancel this. Now, see, what is the next least element? 10. What is the supply? 2. Demand is also 2. They are balanced. So, you can allocate 2 here. This 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. 2 minus 2 is also equal to 0. See, the balance is 0 and the supply is also 0. So, balance supply and demand is equal to 0. Hence, the problem is balanced. We will get the solution for this. Now, how to find the solution? As usual, what we did in the northwest corner method. Let me mark the solution point. So, here we have allocated, this is 1 point. Here we will get the solution at this 2 comma 7 plus 5 comma 3, then 10 comma 2, then 7 comma 2 and 9 comma 16, this entire region. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. This is the solution region. Now, therefore, the cost of the transportation is 2 into 7 plus 5 into 3 plus 10 into 2 plus 7 into 2 plus 9 into 16. So, therefore, the cost of transportation is equal to 2 into 7 plus 5 into 3 plus 10 into 2 plus 7 into 2 plus 9 into 16. So, if you simplify, you will get the answer. Now, let us multiply this. 7 2s are 14, 5 3s are 15 plus 10 into 2 is 20, 7 2s are 14, 16 into 9 is 144. Now, add this. If you add, so what you will get? 20 plus 14, 34, 34 plus 15, 54, 59, 59, 69, 73 plus 144. So, this is equal to 7 plus 4, 0, 207. So, you will get 207. So, therefore, the cost of the transportation is rupees 207. So, this is the cost. Rupees 207 is the cost of the transportation. That's it. Hope you followed this. So this procedure, this method is called solving a problem using least cost method or matrix minimum method. Okay. So this is very simple concept. This is also very important. You may expect this type of question for 7 or 8 marks. Now let me take one more problem. I will teach one more problem so that you will have an idea how to solve this. Now let us come to the next. Solve the transportation problem by least cost method. Check whether the given problem is a balanced or not. How to verify? If the supply and demand are equal, then it is a balanced transportation problem. 175 plus 75, 250, 250 plus 50, 300, 300 plus 200, it is 500. Okay, here 250 plus 150, 400 plus 100, it is 500. So, supply and demand is equal to 500. Therefore, this is a balanced transportation problem. This is a balanced transportation problem. Now, we can apply the step-by-step procedure to solve using least cost method. So, what is the least cost method? Just identify the least value in the cell, and for that particular cell, find out the least value in supply and the demand. Allocate the least value and just go on doing. That's it. Now, I will go to the next page. The balance and supply are found to be 500. So, we can apply the least cost method for this. Now, just identify the least value. Here there are zeros in the last row. All elements are zeros. So, you can take any one from this. Let me consider this 0. Allocate. So, for this 0, the minimum and the minimum value is the supply. Supply have 50 and demand is equal to 250. So, let me consider the least value as 50 from the supply. So, since this is the least value, see there are 3 zeros. You can consider any 0. Let me consider the first 0 itself. Identify the demand and the supply. Demand is 250 and the supply is 50. Which is the least? Supply is the least. 50 I can allocate here. 50 minus 50 is equal to 0, and 250 minus 50 is equal to 200. Okay. Once this becomes 0 means I can cancel this entire. So, this everything gets cancelled. Right. The next least element is 4. So, here 4 is the next least element. Then find out the supply and the demand. Demand is 100 and the supply is equal to 200. Which is the least value? 100 is the least value. You can allocate 100 here. 100 minus 100, 0. 200 minus 100 is equal to 100. Once this becomes 0 means we can cancel this entire column. Now, go to the next least value. Next least value is 6. We have 2 6 values here. One is here, one is another 6. I can consider this 6 and allocate. What is the minimum value? 200 is the demand and the supply is 100. You can allocate 100 here. Then this becomes 100 minus 100 is equal to 0. We are allocating 100 for this. So, what is left over is 100. So, once this becomes 0 means we can cancel this. Okay. Next, identify the next least element. Next least element is also 6. So, for 6, what is the demand? 150 and the supply is 50. This is the least value. You can take 75, the least value. 75 minus 75, 0. 150 minus 75 is 75. Once this becomes 0 means we can cancel that particular row. Now, just next identify the next least value. Which is the next least value? So, here we have 8, 9, 10 and 12. So, in the least value is 8. So, for 8 the demand is 75 and the supply is 150. Demand is less 75. I can allocate 75 minus 75, 0. 175 minus 75 is 100. Once this becomes 0 means we can cancel this also. Now, identify the next least element. Only 2 least elements are there, 10 and 12. Which is the least? 10. So, for this 10, what is the demand? Demand is 100 and the supply is 100. I can allocate 100 here. 100 minus 100, this is 0. Here 100 minus 100, this is also 0. Okay. Then what happens? So, this entire column and this entire row, all elements are get cancelled. So this 12 and 10 also get cancelled, right? This is how we are going to allocate. Now just find out the solution part. So here see, since the supply and the demand are 0, 0 and 0, supply is equal to demand is equal to 0. So just let me find out where we are going to get. Here is 1, here we are going to get, this is one part, 6 into 100, okay, plus 400, 100 into 4 is 400, this is one part, 1000, 10 into 100, we'll get 1000 here, and then where we have 75 into 8, this is another, and this is also the region where we can get the solution, shade this, and this is the last point. 0 into any number is 0, we will get. Anywhere else, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots. That's it. Okay. Now, let me calculate the total cost of the transportation. So, the total cost of transportation is equal to, let me simplify, 6 into 100 plus 4 into 100 plus 10 into 100 plus 6, 4, 10, again 8 into 75 plus again 6 into 75 plus the last value is 0 into 50. 0 into 50. Simplify this, that's it. This will give us the total cost. 6 into 100 is 600, 400, 4 into 100, 10 into 100 is 1000 plus 75 into 8, 8 into 75. 8 into 75 is equal to 600 plus 75 into 6, 75 into 6 is 450 plus 0. Now let us add this, that's it. So 600 plus 400, 1000, 1600, 1600 plus 1000 plus 450. So 2600 plus 450, that is 600 plus 450 is 3050. So therefore, the total cost of the transportation is, therefore, the total cost of transportation problem is rupees 3050, 3050. So the total cost is rupees 3050 is the transportation cost. That's it. This is how we are going to solve a transportation problem using least cost method or matrix minimum method. That's it. Hope you followed. This is very simple and very easy, and you may expect this type of questions for the point of examination. Okay. So hope you followed this. So this is how we are going to solve a transportation problem by least cost method. So that's all regarding today's session. Let us meet with a different concept in the next session. Thank you very much.